I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you
Greetings, technicians. This is Admin Crow here, your coach of the Toronto Star Raptors, bringing you the battle for another week of the PCL, the Pokemon Champions League. This week, we are taking on the Primordial Cold Surgers, coached by BBT, aka Fury, aka Blastburn Tiger, and his record is 2-0. We do have a favorable matchup going into the game, so instead of have the standard Dragon Fairy Steel Core, he has the double steel and the double fairy. I discussed all the sets that I brought and my game plan going in the team builder, which I will leave a link down in the description below. So in this video, I'm just gonna be going into the battle, explaining my turn-to-turn thought process. So let's just get started, shall we? So over here, actually, in the beginning, just from team preview alone, I don't see Superior and Alolan Marowak, which I did mention in my team builder, that these two are two of the biggest threats against my team in my opinion. So I was really happy that I don't see those two in the team preview. So just looking at his team, his potential leads are a U-turn with Scizor, or lead Slurpuff, or even Swampert just to get up rocks. So I'm just gonna go with my initial plan and lead with my Victini, as he does lead with the Slurpuff. Over here, I'm just gonna go for my Bandit V-Crate. It pretty much kills something. Even if he goes into Swampert, it has to be fully physically defensive to take 2. So over here we do see that he is indeed a Focus Sash Endeavor lead with Sticky Webs on his Slurpuff. So on turn 2 here, I'm just gonna go into my Kuroki lead, as this is my designated switching to Stash Webs lead Slurpuff, as I can take the Endeavor or nullify his ability to I guess get off a fast Endeavor on any of my mons with the Mummy ability after I pass it on to him and nullify his Unburden, if he so decide to go for either a Play Rough or some other sort of physical contact move. So over here, as you can see that he does go for the Endeavor. That doesn't affect me as I expected. It actually happened to my mock. In my mock, as on the following turn, he's just gonna go for a Shadow Ball. He's just gonna go for Webs again, just to stack his Slurpuff, as I go for Shadow Ball to knock him out. So over here, I was actually kind of suspicious as what this Scizor can do to me, because one of the main reasons that I bought Kofag is to handle the Scizor and the Slurpuff. It can nullify the Unburden ability from Slurpuff and the Technician ability from Scizor. So even though I was in with my, I guess, quote-unquote Scizor counter, so I still pulled a switch into my defensive Gliscor, as his main job here is to take some special physical hits, especially hits from the Alolan Marowak. But as you can see here, Fury didn't bring it this week in the battle, so I was I guess more comfortable in going into my Gliscor, and plus on the fact that it's not only not affected by the Sticky Web, and I can get rid of it on the following turn with the Defog, as I believe I do go for right here, as he tried to Toxic my Kofag, as I do predict that pretty well, and I go for the Defog on the following turn. But think back, that was kind of a risky play. Had he gone for a knockoff on my Kofag, it would have hit both the Gliscor and the Kofag pretty well. As on the following turn, I do make a hard switch into my Celesteela. As I do make a hard switch into my Victini, as I know I take any hit that Celesteela wants to go for, even an Earthquake. As he made a double into Swampert, expecting the Victini to come in, so that's actually really good on his end. Over here, I should have expected me to pack the grass coverage and have some sort of way to handle me with his Swampert, but instead I just go for the Grass Knot. And this is actually one mistake on my side. It's supposed to have Energy Ball over Grass Knot, as I did mention that in my team builder, but because I was actually testing the damage between Grass Knot and Energy Ball, I forgot to change Grass Knot back to Energy Ball before this battle, but it actually came back to bite me a little bit. As you can see, he does pack the Rindo Berry. Had that been a energy ball instead of a grass knot, it would have done a little bit more, and I'll be more comfortable with going for another one. But as you can see here, he does take that really well with the Rindo Berry and fire off a big earthquake. So because that was a grass knot over energy ball, I can't really risk the roll. I don't even think it would have killed with my investment even if I stay in. So I just made a safe switch into Scarlet Mist, the Slow King, to take the waterfall. On the following turn here, I just go for the grass knot for the Swampert. As he hard switch into Zangoose, I do get a crit with the grass knot. In the long run, I don't think it mattered all that much, but we'll see in a little bit here. But it was kind of his own fault for risking Zangoose at this point. But he is in with one of the biggest offensive threats on his team, as he does predict my switch, pull another double, going back to the Scissor, expecting my Kuroki switching. This time he can catch me off guard with a Toxic. As I go for the Toxic, Toxic spikes, try to warn down the Swampert and Sylveon coming in, as these two are the only two mons that will be affected by the Toxic spikes. As he reveals the defog over here, so I'm actually gonna double Toxic spikes, expecting him to defog or at least scout for the defog. So on the following turn, I'm actually gonna switch out to take advantage of the defog. But as you can see, he actually predicted my switch. That's a really good prediction on his part. But unfortunately, the Toxic missed. I would have been, I actually would have been more preferred if that Toxic landed, as I am packing a Facade. But it is what it is. It is the game that we play. As on the following turn, I can just go for a Flame Adamant Fire Punch right here to hit that Scissor for super effective damage. As he just go for another Toxic, that actually worked out in my favor, as I do get a Facade boost. Over here, I actually expected him to switch, so I went for the Facade instead of another Fire Punch, as he actually stayed in with his Scissor. But as you can see here, I actually don't kill with my Facade. That's a misprediction on my part for sure. Really good play on BBT's side or Fury's side, just going for that straight up damage, the Bullet Punch. So on the following turn, I'm just gonna finish him off with a quick attack. I have to review it right here. So the damage from Toxic is racking up. So as he goes into Celesteela on his free switch, I'm gonna pull a switch into my Kurogili once again. I can't afford to let this thing set up. As you can see, he actually does go for the Autonomize right here. So I went for the Haze because I cannot risk my team getting swept. I'm so surprised that he switched out. So this leaves me to believe that he's more of a physically offensive set. So he doesn't really want to take a potential Will-O-Wisp coming from the Kofak, as he does go into his Cleric, his Sylveon, to take the potential Will-O-Wisp or the just any hits that I can go for. As I do switch out of my Kofak, knowing that I still needed to take on both the Zangoose and the potential Celesteela setting up on me, as I just go into my Windtail, my Gliscor right here to take the Hyper Voice, as I know that I won't get 2-hit KO by the Sylveon if he's uninvested. If he is invested, it will be less of a threat, as he won't be a Cleric set. So on the following turn, I'm just gonna go for Rocks, predicting. Actually, I couldn't do anything to the Sylveon, so Rocks actually was my only play. Just with my Gliscor set, I don't have anything to hit the Sylveon with, but he doesn't know that at this point. He was probably expecting an Earthquake or some sort of physical move. That's why he went to Celesteela. So over here, instead of staying with Gliscor to let him set up, so I do make another switch. Last time I went to Kofak, tried to haze off, but this time I actually made an offensive switch into Incursio, my Hydreigon, as I am indeed choice Scarf to take on the Serp, but the Serp actually also didn't come, so I figured that Hydreigon is more expendable at this point, so I can afford to go into it and just go for a fire move, try to scare this thing out. As I actually go for the U-turn right here, predict the Sylveon to come in, but he stayed in once again, similar to the Scissor, so another really good play on Fury's side, or I guess just over prediction on my side. So I'm forced to go into my Kurogi, the Kofak right here, and just go for the Haze. as this time he does stay in and does reveal the fact that he is a physically offensive set with heavy slam. I can successfully pass on my mummy ability, and the job of Kofag is done here, as he did manage to set up both the toxic spikes and haze off the boost from Celesteela and pass on the mummy to the Celesteela. So over here I'm just gonna go into my Victini as I do outspeed now without, I guess, the Celesteela having the autonomize up. So I know that for a fact that I'm getting a kill here. Even the Swamper doesn't want to come in and risk the potential Grass Knot or just getting a huge hit, I guess, potentially being dented by a banded V-Crate. So as I am just gonna go for the V-Crate right here, he does decide to stack his Celesteela right here. And I do get a mummy, but it doesn't matter at this point, as I am just gonna stay in, I think, here, because I can't let this Zangoose set up Swords Dance or anything. That's why I decided to stack my Victini right there, just go for another V-Crate. However though, because he finished me off with a quick attack, that is a physical contact move, the mummy actually got passed on to him. That worked in my favor just because he lost the toxic boost ability, which means he no longer has that +1 attack from the quick attack. So even though I am pretty low with my Lopunny, I can just safely go for a quick attack right here and pick up this kill on Zangoose. The crit, I don't think it mattered, because Zangoose is such a frail mon. And I am Adamant Leone, Adamant Mega Lopunny. So over here I get to save my Mega Lopunny once again as he goes into the Swamper. I'm just gonna go into my Scarlet Mist Slowking, as I know that I take any hit for sure. As he goes for a double Earthquake, that actually did a lot more than I thought, but just with my physical investment, the 80 points or 100 points in physical defense, it does allow me to live 2 right here. So over here he only have Sylveon left. I just want to show off my Continental Crush. As you can see that I did like 22, literally 22. That did like so much less than I thought. I was like, damn, this thing is especially bulky as fuck. And then over here it's pretty much GG at this point, but he doesn't know that. He's trying to just wish stall me a little bit and potentially get a special defense drop with the Shadow Ball or a crit with Hyper Voice. He still have a potential chance to win right here, but the reason I'm just switching back and forth between Slowking and Gliscor is because, as you guys know, I don't have any moves on Gliscor that I can touch the Sylveon with, and because the fact that I only got up 1 layer of Toxic Spikes, this is just regular poison, it's not toxic poison. So I believe at this point, the Sylveon already revealed all 4 of its moves, which are Wish, Hyper Voice, Protect. I think the last one, Shadow Ball, is about to go for it pretty soon as I just dance around between Slowking and the Gliscor, just to try to wear down this Sylveon a little bit, as he is taking more toxic damage, or I guess poison damage, as he is getting back with the leftovers, so he's taking residual damage. So eventually I'll be able to wear him out of wishes, but that wasn't actually my initial plan. It's simply because I hope you guys understand this stall play in the end here a little bit. This Sylveon actually can straight up beat, even though it's a 4-1 up right now, if I make a risky offensive play into either my Hydreigon or my Mega Lopunny, I can actually straight up lose the game, because both my Mega Lopunny and Hydreigon don't beat the Sylveon one-on-one. They can only get 1 hit off each. The Hydreigon can go for a Flash Cannon, and the Mega Lopunny can go for a boosted Facade, because it is in fact toxic. And both my Slowking and my Gliscor cannot beat this Sylveon one-on-one. That's why I have to let him either kill one of my defensive walls, so I can go into my offensive pressure to get off 1 hit each to finish off this Sylveon. It's actually a guaranteed kill no matter which, I guess, what type of investment he has. unless somehow flash cannon or facade missed, but I guess that's not possible. And plus the fact that I can just preserve differential this way as well. I just sit with Slow King and stack Slow King and finish off the game right here, but that's gonna be a 3-0 instead of 4-0. And I understand the fact that why he's doing this, because he doesn't know that my Hydreigon can actually, I guess, hurt the Sylveon a little bit. Does around 30 to 40% if he's physically bulky, but I'm pretty sure this is especially bulky Sylveon, just from that Continental Crush damage. I'm actually, instead of showing you guys this this dance we have here going on for 10-20 turns, I'm just gonna show you guys the end quickly. So I'm pretty much just dancing around here, and eventually he got, I think, a crit and Spadef drop on the same hit with Shadow Ball. Yeah, and he ended up just forfeiting the match. So this is not something I usually do in the end, but I would like to show you guys the calc a little bit and just to justify my play here. I hope you guys understand that I cannot just simply risk, I guess, a win by going into my offensive threat, as this Sylveon can, in fact, win the game for him if I do make such play. And let me just show you guys the calc real quick in the end here. So this is my Mega Lopunny set that I brought. It is Adamant with 252 attack. So this Sylveon, I just went with the default set with, I guess, not 252 special defense. But let's say this Sylveon has 252 HP and special HP and defense. It's gonna be taking 62-73% from the facade, as I am badly poisoned. And if I go into my Incursio set, right, which is the Hydreigon, it does 37 to 44%. So if you do the math real quick, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill with the Flash Cannon plus a facade if he's fully physically defensive. Don't forget to account for the poison damage. Say if he's fully specialty defensive, let's just go with both. It doesn't really matter right here. My Flash Cannon is only going to be doing 30 to 36%. However, if you look at Mega Lopunny, well, obviously this is with the non-boosted facade. Let's say I'm badly poisoned, it's going to be doing 85 to 100%. So there's no way that the Sylveon can beat both the Hydreigon and the Mega Lopunny without, going for any type of recovery or just wish stall me out. I'll be able to hit KO it with the combination of Mega Lopunny plus the Hydreigon. This is just to justify my play there in the end a little bit, but it is a very good game overall. GG to Fury for sure. I'm really sorry I have to saw you a little bit in the end, but I hope you understand my play there. For the last, I guess, 20 turns, it is turn 75 and he has to forfeit. I kind of feel bad, but that was actually literally my only play because I can't afford to switch. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me this week for the battle in the PCL. So I guess I'll see you guys next time. I'm really glad that we finally managed to bounce back after losing to Clutch down to the wire last week. So next week we're also going to be taking on a really tough opponent. I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys like it. This is going to be Admin Crow here signing off. Goodbye, technicians.